Hot water machine. Oh, there's a little redness of it. Oh! But yeah, it really hurts. Hello, everybody. This is Use Your Words podcast. I didn't have it. I was trying to think of something to do, but I couldn't think of anything.
Couldn't think of anything witty to do.
No,
anything witty to say.
I was trying to think when I was. Well, no, I don't like that. No, I was trying to think when I was talking. I said something about the redness, and I was trying to think about the redness of my eyes because of this fat blunt I'm smoking right now. Just kidding, not really, but we are talking about that today.
I was like, sir, what flat,
I'm like, wait,
fat blunt have you been smoking? Because I don't see one here.
Oh, I feel it though.
If you guys can see Paul's face right now, he is like staring to the depths of Aaron's soul.
I had to take a little smoke break, earlier, and you didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to, you got to test it so you know what it does to you before you talk about it.
I thought you already did that when you were younger.
Shut up. Yeah, I did. Well, I did, but I didn't, it didn't work. I don't know. Nothing happened. So.
Okay, well, do you want to stop fidgeting with your phone and continue on here?
I'm sorry. Just touch stuff. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, welcome back. Another week. We're not talking about, well, I mean, I guess it could have stuff to do with mental health to a point. I don't know. I mean, drugs and alcohol can do something with that, I guess. But I guess that's not the main focus of today because we've had, two regular things, and then the third one was the roundtable discussion, which we did with a few friends of ours. So we're changing it up today, talking about some interesting stuff that's going on out there. There's a lot of, I guess, weed talk, especially in Wisco, for having it legalized, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when you say changing it up, you mean changing it back to the original format that we've done before May.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the topic of the conversation is that Johnson was trying to so eloquently get to here was, okay, alcohol is legal. A lot of Christians partake of alcohol. Uh-huh. What about weed? If it's legal, is it okay to partake? And there's going to be some opinion sharing, but there's also going to be some fact sharing because I believe if you're going to have an opinion, at least have it based in facts.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
And
that does help.
Yeah, it does help. If you have an opinion, but you're not basing it with facts, that's a problem. Because an opinion's emotions, facts is hard reality.
That's a very fair statement there.
No.
As Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your emotions.
Yeah, they don't care about your feelings.
So, but before we get there, we have to do, as is tradition. It's only a tradition, Aaron, because you're the one who suggested it.
I regret many things in my life, and this is one of them.
Well,
what?
Good fella. This one you should know.
Good fella?
Yeah.
He's a good fella.
How good of a fella is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's
good fella.
Good fella.
No.
Good fella.
I can't read. I'm like trying to find an example here that doesn't give it away, but that would help.
I mean, it's just, isn't that just a word to describe somebody that's doing something?
It's a noun, so it's not a description. It's not an adjective here. If you notice a few good fellas gawking every so often, don't reach for your pockets too quickly.
What?
Saturday nights are reserved by the good fellas for their wives and Fridays for their mistresses.
What?
Gentleman? Is a gentleman?
So, Aaron, what's your answer? Good, just a good person? that have mistresses?
Yep.
Okay. It's a gangster, especially a member of a mafia family.
What?
Your parents watch black and white movies. I'm sure they watched movies with mafias and Goodfellas in there. In fact, there's a movie called Goodfellas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I have not heard or seen of this.
Oh, Mr. Johnson. So, that being said, I guess we'll get right into it, guys.
Yeet.
And I'm wondering, kind of hoping in a way, that we won't all agree on this one. Actually, I think I have a feeling we won't. Because I kind of already hear where Johnson's kind of coming from on some of this. So,
I don't like this. I'm going to be a target.
No, it's not.
I'm a target.
No, it's not.
I'm a target.
Okay, here's the rule. You're not a target. This isn't directly attacking you.
I'm a target.
We attack the ideas.
I'm a target.
Not you, sir. You're not a target.
My ideas
He's
are
attacking
me.
your opinions.
Yeah, now I'm going to
You're under fire.
Yeah,
Hostile.
But I want to hear your thoughts and your facts and your data behind it.
Should I grab a grenade?
It's great to have an opinion, like I said, but be able to logically reason through it with some data to back it up.
I will say, I feel like this. Well, it depends on what portion. But the topic in general, I think, is more of an opinionated topic. Now, depending on how you take it, that's where the facts will really be useful to obviously stand your place your opinion.
To back up your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I definitely do feel that there's a big portion of opinion in
there's always going to be opinion, but if you have some data, that helps with you being able to make a solid, logical argument.
Oh yeah.
So
no,
really, really, this gets broken down to two segments if you think about it. Well, the first segment. Well, okay, so let's set the premise. Alcohol is legal in the U.S. Obviously, we tried prohibition at one point. That didn't work. Alcohol is legal. People can drink it, and they drink it all the time.
It's very readily available.
Yeah, I partake of alcohol myself.
Me too.
Okay. I partake of another drug all the time that is another psychoactive drug that is wonderful. Caffeine.
Oh, caffeine.
Yeah.
I've just started getting into that.
What?
Not really. I don't know. That
He was being sarcastic.
That
Death Wish coffee?
Yes, Death Wish coffee. Very
Caffeinated.
Caffeinated.
But I mean, caffeine is technically another drug that alters your mental state. Now, in the case of caffeine, it's for the good. It's for alertness for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, in alcohol's case, it's for, well, they call, you get drunk and they call it beer goggles, where your vision's blurry and all that stuff. Or also they all say that, like, if it's an ugly person, they might look better.
Yeah.
Beer
I've
goggles.
seen those.
Oh,
no.
Like, I remember when I was even back in middle school, they would have, like, the police officers come in and they had, like, the goggles that you had to put on that just made the vision all blurry.
You never had that?
I've never had that. I've always wanted to.
I thought they did that at Case.
I didn't get to partake in it.
Oh, I just remember putting on these goggles and it was like all blurry. And then the one day I actually got drunk, I'm like,
was it close or could you remember? I was going to say, can you even?
I could still see clear.
Yeah, but you probably couldn't.
My footwork was a little.
Exactly. That's what the goggles were trying to replicate, was that you wouldn't be able to walk properly.
I don't remember walking. I just remember putting them on.
Well,
no, yeah, because they had us go through like an obstacle course and everything. When you can't walk straight, well,
yeah, you're screwed.
Kind of difficult there. So using that as the base, okay, I think we should break this into two conversations. First conversation. Being that marijuana / THC, because THC and marijuana and all that other stuff, or the other active ingredients in there, like the CBD and all that, for medical use. And then recreational use.
Yeah.
Two separate conversations, I think, that have two separate outcomes, at least in my head.
Okay.
So that's what I think. Now, that being said, both THC and CBD, I do think, have medical benefits.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that being said, I will let you two take it off, and then
What?
So the two separate discussions is
medical,
Yep.
recreational.
and recreational.
So let's start with medical.
Medical.
Because that one, I think, at least from my perspective, is probably a lot less controversial than recreational.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because the recreational, that's a whole other component.
That's where you go to seek to have it, I guess, more than being prescribed it.
Right.
It's just like going out and drinking. It's something you choose to do.
So
the doctor never tells you, oh, just go drink some alcohol and it'll be better.
Yeah, that's never
the case.
That's never the solution that I've ever heard from any doctor ever. So let's just go around the room here. Josh,
You're up.
medical marijuana. Are you for or against? What's your thought on that?
Well, I'll try to keep this to a 10.
Wait. Before we go into the whole shebang and deal with it, just yes, no.
I am for it.
Okay.
Medical use, yes.
I don't know. I think I've come to be more yes than no.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
For medical?
Yeah.
For medical, I would say yes as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I just wanted so we knew what each person's position was first.
Yeah.
Then, Josh, now you go into your
tangent and
hopefully not tangent, but like half-hour long spiel on it.
Well, medically speaking, one of the reasons why I agree with medical is because usually medical is there's a certain dosage.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it might be a daily thing, it's not like you're smoking 3-4 times a day. You really just got to smoke like once or twice, or you pop if it's capsule, you do that, and it kind of helps you get through your day. It's been seen to benefit many different types of diseases out there, and I am told. I mean, it's just really just a simplified version. I see nothing wrong with that. If it helps to benefit someone, especially someone who has a physical disability or disease that the normal way can't do anything, and especially if it's because it is cheaper than some prescription drugs. It's a whole lot cheaper. And for somebody who might not be able to get their hands on certain prescription pills that could help them, for that to be a cheaper option for them to seek the medical help that they need, I'm for it.
Okay.
But outside of that, I'm not.
Okay.
I'll save that for later.
We'll get that later. Now, and when I talk about medical, there's two components of medical marijuana.
The THC and
there's the THC and then the
CBD.
CBD. So the CBD is like the CBD oils. I know in Wisconsin they just legalized that portion. So the CBD doesn't get you high at all.
Nope.
Just the THC portion. Actually, if you have, and when I was doing my research, if you have a marijuana plant that's high in CBD but lower in THC, it'll counteract the THC to prevent the person from getting high.
Huh.
Especially like if it's a medical one.
That's kind of interesting.
So, for medically wise, they can balance some things out.
Right.
As far as it being cheaper, depends. Some joints go for $7 a joint. If that's not covered by your insurance,
it's not a lot.
It depends.
Like
how many uses can you get out of it?
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing one joint a day, 30 days, that's going to add up real quick. That's going to be $210 a month. But in some cases, that is still cheaper than
then
when you have somebody who's got to buy a bottle that is well over $1,000 and the insurance company covers 90% of it. Then you're like, okay, well, you're out of pocket. It's fine, but if you don't have good insurance or if you don't have insurance at all, then
you're in trouble.
Yeah. So, Johnson, you're up. So, do you have any more thoughts to add or take away from Mr.
I was just thinking of one. I know a guy, who was given CBD pills, one night before we had a gig, and now there could have been multiple factors, I guess, throughout the night that caused him to do better, but that was the first night I think they had him on the pills, and that was probably one of the best nights that he's had playing performance-wise on the CBD, and I don't know if that just caused him to, I don't know what he goes through when he plays, if he's nervous or if he's afraid of stuff or what, but he just, that night seemed to be one of the nights where he was the most focused on what he was doing and played actually fairly well.
Interesting. Because I didn't see anything about like concentration or relaxation under CBD.
Well, and that's why I'm saying there could be other factors that have gone into it, but I just thought that was interesting how they had him on the CBD pills for that one night.
Yeah.
And that was the best night he's played, at least recently, as far as I know.
I guess it can actually lower anxiety.
It could be. It might not have been on the list that I found.
I know. I'm looking at an article right now.
Yeah, so the main list I found for CBD is reducing seizures, which is how I first heard about CBD oil to begin with, period. Because that's one of the reasons why they wanted it legalized in Wisconsin, was to help people who are experiencing seizures, and this is one of the few things that would help them through it. It's been shown to kill breast cancer cells.
That's good.
Some of it studies have shown that can stimulate bone growth, can stop inflammation. It's very anti-inflammatory, and it has some antioxidant and antipsychotic properties. Now, on the flip side, the THC. So that's the stuff that actually makes the person high, feel the buzz, feel quote unquote good. That stuff can ease pain, relax, help pain with nerve damage.
Is it? I believe then it's the THC that can help somebody with what is it? I can't pronounce it, but it's where they have a really bad shakes,
spasms and convulsions. That was next on my list.
Oh, okay. I can't. There's a certain name for it. It's not Parkinson's, I don't think. Like an SCL or something like that.
ACL?
No.
So that's a different part of your body.
Yeah.
No, because you said CBD
Yeah.
pills have been somewhat recently legalized
In Wisconsin.
What about THC?
THC, as far as I'm aware, in Wisconsin has not. Okay. I could be wrong.
Because when you mentioned nerve, pain and stuff like that, I was wondering. I thought maybe that was one reason he played better, because he always has pain while playing.
Yep.
But I was like, I didn't think THC pills were a thing yet in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Unless he got some under the counter stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As of this time, it is not legal in Wisconsin. Okay. Still, just the CBD is.
Yeah. Okay. Then he had CBD.
So
CBD.
So and unlike THC, and I'll say this portion, unlike THC, CBD is relatively low risk on stuff. It's not going to cause many issues.
No.
Potential side effects. THC, on the other hand, does have side effects, which can be annoying.
Always.
Paranoia, anxiety, dry mouth, dry red eyes, the stereotypical hunger and munchies.
Yeah. Oh, see, I would not be a good pot smoker.
Sleepiness, lethargy, impaired memory.
Boy.
Thanks. What was that last one?
Impaired memory.
Impaired. See, so these are side effects. Could it like help with any of those and not be bad?
Could it help? I don't know if it would help with memory so much, but
I need something to help with memory.
That's what you need is Sudoku.
I don't play that game.
That's what you need to help your brain.
I need to play Sudoku.
Yep.
What? What?
That's what you can use to help your brain out. But what is going on? Why does Josh just keeps getting up there like every couple minutes here? And I would like to point out that there's no reason to. But anyway.
He's trying. We getting some spicy footage up in here.
I don't know about spicy, but
this chocolate milk is pretty desirable.
So we can pretty much. So I guess all three of us agree yes to medical marijuana, and I have seen multiple documentaries and reports where people who are using, medical marijuana, and when I'm talking medical marijuana, I'm not talking CBD portion. I'm talking the THC portion to help them with pain and various factors like that.
And I didn't think about this, but when Josh was saying it can be more controlled when it's something that's prescribed to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yet again, I mean, you could abuse the amount you take, but then, I mean, that's also can be like, the doctor can be like, whoa, slow down there. But then what if you don't slow down? Does he just not give it to you anymore? Well,
he wouldn't give you a prescription, which would then mean they might go back to like a dealer to get their stuff.
That's not good.
Now, that's where it's just medically legal. You got states where it is recreationally legal.
Yeah.
But in that case,
like Colorado.
Yeah, in that case, it doesn't matter if they have prescription or not. They can just go and
buy. They can go and get their own anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a question. It's legal in Seattle, right? Or in Washington? Not Seattle. Seattle's not a state. Washington is a state.
I think it's all of Washington, but it is in Seattle. Yeah.
They can make it legal by city?
Maybe.
Or county?
Okay, look.
I'm pretty sure the counties can impose their own specific laws.
Yeah, so look at it this way. Okay, Colorado made it legal, right?
Yeah.
It's still illegal federally.
What?
Federally. At the national level, it's still legal.
Yeah.
So state of Colorado said within our borders, it's still legal. Now, if there was a national law enforcement that did something, they could technically still do something. Now,
so if the FBI showed up at your door and you were high as a kite, they could.
They probably wouldn't, but
but they could
if they really wanted to. Now, so that's creating some interesting dynamics where the fact that is, you have especially some jobs that are multi-state, where a state might be legal.
Yes,
but if let's say the company I work for expands Colorado. If they did that, it would not, even if they live out there, it would not be legal for them to do it and still be employed by the company.
Yeah.
They could be fired.
And that was something I was going to bring up later was, it's legal in the state now. I mean, the job, wherever you work, still can say, you ain't partaking. Well, if you want to work here, you're not partaking in that. But
whatever has seniority over you can make that rule.
Yeah.
But that still brings up the whole question then. Let's say it was prescribed. And this one I don't know. I couldn't find a definitive answer on.
That's true, too. I guess
if it was prescribed to Aaron and he worked for a company that had zero tolerance policy, would the prescription protect him or not? I couldn't find a solid answer.
I'm not saying the thing for my work would be I couldn't work there while I am taking it because I work with machinery.
Okay.
So while I'm under taking the drug, I couldn't use it. But if I wasn't on the drug, then if I don't know, I could take it after work and the effects wouldn't be with me the next day until I took it again. Then I suppose I could work as long as I'm not,
right
in the time period of that pill.
And this starts flowing into this whole. We'll flow into the recreational use in a second here. Yep. Is there anything else that you wanted to add on the medical side? Either of you two?
There was something, but then it kind of left my mind.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. And it's, like I said, from medical side, if it's legal in the state and the doctor says, yeah, it might help or it will help with your condition, use it like any other medication.
Yeah, right. Do you think? What do you think most? I don't know. Do you think the church would be like? Do you think they would be like, you shouldn't do that, even if it's prescribed?
Prescribed.
Prescribed. Yeah.
You know, and if you would have asked me that question like 20, 30 years ago,
oh, it would have been definitely.
It would have been a definite no. I'm seeing a lot of change on that front. Now, I'm seeing a lot of change, and I'll bring this up in the recreational portion. But I'm seeing a lot of change on that front overall, even on the recreational side, but especially on the medical side, where this is a legitimate medical need, not someone pretending to have, the old joke, oh, I have glaucoma, doctor, I need my marijuana license. That was kind of that old joke when medical marijuana first became legal.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who legitimately, like, they're in a lot of pain and they have tried these hard opiates, and they're not working, but the marijuana is working for them and it's legal for them to do that in their state, go for it.
Right.
Obviously they still have to follow the laws. If the building that they're at, be it a church, work, or whatever, says you can't smoke on the grounds, well, don't do it.
No, I mean, it's not all smoking though either, is it?
No,
they've got. Well, obviously, when you talked about pills earlier, they've got.
Well, CBD pills. I don't know if there's so much THC pills, but there's also edibles.
I say you can make edibles though.
No, but here's the thing to remember though, and here's where there's that little twist in everything. And I guess we might as well segue into recreational portion of this. THC, you lose a bunch of it when heat is applied to the marijuana.
How you activate it.
No, you lose it.
No, but that's what I thought. That's what was explained to me is to get the effects of it. It's when it gets heated up to a certain temperature. That's when it can.
Well, okay. I have this from the LA Times. A joint. Okay, when you light it up, you have a joint. Your THC loss due to heat is 20 milligrams.
Okay.
So if you have 0.3 grams of THC in the entire joint, you get 12 milligrams that you smoke and inhale, and you lose 20 to heat. In a bong, you lose 19, you get 13. In a vaporizer, you lose 15 and get 17.
Huh.
So,
okay.
So the heat actually decreases.
So I could take a marijuana plant and just eat it, and that would have some effect on me.
That's going to have a lot more effect than
cooking it and then eating it.
Yeah.
Why do I listen to potheads?
See, this is why I do my research.
You'd think a pothead would have an idea. No, they don't.
No,
they
don't.
Just smoke it.
or eat it.
Okay. So I guess before we go into this, and this is where we might disagree some.
Oh!
What?
Well, yeah, I remember. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, why would I think you need to heat it up in order to have it work? Because, I mean, I remember seeing videos. Well, I didn't see, but hearing videos where dogs ate dude's joint, and then the dog was tripping.
Yeah.
And the joint wasn't lit yet.
Yeah.
So, Well then, my mind has now been something.
Your mind has now been something. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if we're going to segue into
recreational,
let's do the same thing as before. I will go around the room. We'll start at Joshy again. Joshy boy, recreational, yes, no, don't know.
No.
Okay. Aaron?
I guess I'm not.
And be honest, man. If we disagree, we disagree. That's
fine.
No,
yeah. I don't care about it. Yeah, that.
You better say no.
He doesn't have to say no.
I'm not going to bend to your will.
Yes, you will.
No.
Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Or break.
Go on.
I would. I want to say I don't really care. I don't mind if it's you can do it recreationally.
Okay.
Would I partake in it for myself? Most likely not. But am I totally against people having that option? Not really. No.
Okay.
I guess in my main, you can do your thing because I'm sure we're all going to go around and do our own shebang and talk about it anyway. So what is your answer, Paul?
My answer is no.
Okay.
Okay. And as the one who says that they don't care, I would like you to kick us off first.
Frick. Okay. I mean,
and I get before you start here.
Uh-oh.
No. I'm adding this little disclaimer here. When you say you don't care and all that, I get it, man. I get I agree with some of the thoughts that you're probably going to say right now because I think we've had some of this conversation a little bit before the recording. But I just want to say that I'm on going to be on the opposite side of you on this, and that's good. That's fine.
This is where we can have civil discussion.
Exactly. Exactly. So go on.
Well, no, because I was talking to some coworkers at work, about it.
Yep.
And I mean, granted, we had an interesting, I guess, talk about all of this stuff. Because I don't know, it's just another way, I don't know, to have something done to you, I guess. I don't know, because for like alcohol and stuff like that.
Yep.
I mean, it's much more available, well, I guess to the public eye than marijuana is. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's more destructive than marijuana because I don't know all of the, side effects marijuana can have on your body. But I mean, alcohol's so, widely accepted and stuff like that, and you can partake in it and whatnot. And so to have another drug, not another, I don't know, is alcohol a drug?
Yeah.
Okay. So to have another thing out there, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's good for you per se, but I mean, if alcohol can be out there, I don't see why this can't be out there available to people as well. I mean, I guess the thing is, there's people you'll say, if you go out to get smashed and, drinking and stuff like that, I guess it's be responsible about it and have some safe way for you to get from point A to point B. It's really depressing if you do it at home alone. That's not good.
Right.
but I mean,
no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, like, I mean, what Josh and I have done once before in the past was we went to a buddy's house and we got trashed.
Yeah, I remember.
Once, guys.
Once.
Yeah, I know. So you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, it's not that that's something that you should do, especially coming from a Christian, stand on this. That's not something you should be doing. But I would much rather have friends get together somewhere and get hammered if they want to and stay there. So, I mean, if people want to go smoke some and get high and whatnot, as long as they stay there and they don't go out and potentially, obviously, endanger their lives or anybody else's lives, then all right.
Yep.
Just be smart about it, I guess. So that's one. I mean, if alcohol's available, then I don't see why that shouldn't be. But yeah, I guess overall, I still don't necessarily agree with it, because especially after when we were talking earlier today about talking about just how much you need.
Or how little.
Well, yeah. That's a better way to put it, is how little you need to have it hit you and make you high. That was new to me. Because when we were talking at work, I mean, the guys were saying, it can affect different people differently.
Right.
Some people can handle more, some people might not. I mean, same. Well, I mean, I know I can handle more alcohol than I used to be when I first started being able to drink some. But.
Right. And it's the same with alcohol. Eventually you build tolerance over time.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was reading about was with medical marijuana users.
Yeah.
Whereas like Joshy Boy, his first time, it might take him 5 milligrams of THC to get high. Mm-hmm. It might take a medical marijuana person over 100.
Oh, wow.
Because they get so used to it. Their body's used to it. It's just the same with you. With alcohol, it might take you, when you start out, 3 beers to get a buzz.
Right.
But maybe now it takes you 7.
Maybe it takes 3 double Jack and Cokes.
Like when I was out in Seattle and I messaged you, I was like, I had 2 drinks and I feel messed up.
I remember.
I was like, I am now a lightweight.
Right.
It can go in the opposite way.
I'm not the lightest weight now.
No, I had some food and I was fine.
Yeah. See, it's crazy for how much that can, help out is eating food. Man,
but because I don't drink a ton.
Oh yeah, your body's not used to that coming into it. So when it sees that again, it's like, oh boy, hello, wow. But
anything else?
I feel like there was we got into some fun discussions at work about where was it the burning bush in the Bible? They were saying apparently there's a thought behind that as he was high or on some drug that either made him hallucinate or something like that and saw this bush and saw it was burning, but it wasn't in real life. He was just on some drug and that's the side effect of it. So I was just like, and they were talking about Joe Rogan or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
So no, yeah. There was one of the things that we'd also talked about was age limit.
Okay. Yeah.
Right now it's 21 years old.
Yep.
Would it be better to have that older or younger?
Well, look at all what they're trying to do with just tobacco smoking in general.
They're
trying to, some states are raising it to 21 from 18.
Yes.
But some states are wanting to raise it even more. And then you even have stores jumping in and they're raising it to 21 across their stores, even in states where it's legal at 18 still.
Yeah. And one thing that I don't know, I don't know where he saw this information or whatever, but he was saying that now the brain is still developing until even a later age.
Yep.
Later than 21.
Yes.
And they're thinking, well, because, marijuana and, drugs can still have an effect on the development of your brain. So what if they raise the age to have that until you were, quote unquote, officially an adult or grown up and fully developed.
Right.
And then you can partake in smoking marijuana, drinking, or whatever you want.
Smoke a marijuana drink.
What did I? Smoke some Mary Jane and drink some alcohols. Now, see, I told you I'm on something, okay? But it's not marijuana.
It's Overwise chocolate milk.
Yes. They got something good in that.
Yeah. No, that's reason. And again, I'm still of the mindset of no, but that's reasonable, saying, hey, even in states where it's legal, let's say, kids are still developing up until X age. I don't know what that X age.
Yeah.
A medical person would have to tell me. Until that X age. But then here's my question. Are you going to retroact that back to alcohol, tobacco?
And that's the thing. It would have to be across the board, everything.
Yep.
No, and then we've talked about in the past before, they're raising the tobacco age now to 21. Whoop-de-doo, kids are still going to get their hands on whatever it is they want to at the whatever age they decide to want to get into that. There's nothing that's going to stop kids that want to get into it. Which is, upsetting because it'd be nice, I guess, to be able to, set a law like that or have a rule like that and actually feel like it'll be followed.
Right.
But it seems it's just such a big joke to me, at least, to see that kind of stuff because it's like, And I guess, well, the other thing was, though, I guess depending on how old they make it, like who are the people that are supplying the kids with these, I don't know, tobacco?
Well, if you buy it legally, you turn around and out of the back alley, you
but I'm saying who is the one that's getting the kids the stuff? Is it a friend of theirs that can be old enough to buy it and they're just dumping it off to them?
It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be a dealer.
Well, yeah. So it's just like, I guess depending on what age it was, how many people then wouldn't be able to get access to it, but then everybody else has somebody that's older that it doesn't work. Makes me upsetty like spaghetti.
Okay. Any more thoughts that you want to share right now? Because obviously we might jump into more things.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only other thing was, which we already kind of talked about, was the whole workplace situation where if it's legal here and your job says no, but I guess my thought would be, how many jobs do you think would be more accepting of people smoking it once it becomes legal? Like, do you think there would be a lot of job places that'd be like, well, okay, you can have it?
Here's the ones that will never let you have it.
All right, what are the ones that will
The ones that will never let you have it are ones where you could be sued for malpractice, so medical.
Yes.
That's never going to happen because, even let's say it's legal, right? Do you want someone who just toked up operating on your mother?
Well, see, and that's the thing. It's obviously not right that time, But like if it's legal and they do it in at a respectable time where it's not going to have an effect on their moment, on their their mind or their functionality at that time.
And see, that's where I think things are going to have to change a little bit if that does become legalized. Okay, now I can say that I don't think it should be legalized wherever, but if the state decides it's going to be legalized, then it's going to be legalized. I have no control over it. Okay, I have control over me.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
But if that happens. Because right now, one of the best ways that they test for it is hair.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like when I applied for my current job and I got hired, I had to go in, they had to cut off, they had to take so many inches of hair to test for drugs because it stays in the hair. It's a drug record.
Yeah, it's interesting how that
and
works.
So if I would have failed that, I would have been hired. So how is that going to change? Don't know. Is it going to be treated like alcohol where it's if you're not high right now, but you were high last night, you're okay? Don't know.
Right.
Well, those are those conversations. Now, that being said, some of those things that you got to start worrying about is, and I think maybe this needs a little bit more study because alcohol obviously has had a lot of study on this.
Oh, for
How
sure.
long do these things continue to impact you after the buzz is finished?
Right. Now,
see, and here's the funny thing, okay? And this is from WebMD. They said they do not currently, right now, have the technology to test the amount of impairment with cannabis, so THC weed, like we do with alcohol. So a breathalyzer test can tell you how much alcohol is in your blood. Are you okay to drive? But we have no way. Like if I suspected Aaron was high right now, there is no test I can take to take Aaron to, where it be blood test or whatever, that give me an immediate result that say Aaron is this high.
Yeah.
And unlike alcohol, alcohol can be out of your system very quickly, whereas cannabis, like you're saying, you can't see how much is in your system. So you go to Colorado, you smoke a joint or two, it's going to be in your system for probably 13 days or longer. So if you come back and your work decides to do, all right, let's do a drug screen on everybody right now, they're going to see it in your system. You can tell them you smoked down in Colorado, but they're not going to be able to see the last time you really did it.
Yeah, I thought it lasted a long time.
Well, obviously in your hair.
Hair-wise, yeah, but I thought it lasted. Because, isn't it? It's roughly, an hour per,
30 minutes to an hour.
Drink of alcohol you have?
So,
alcohol, yes. Well,
here's what it is. People who smoked weed in the last 30 to 45 days can fail a urine test.
30 to 45 days.
And those who smoked in the last 60 to 75 days can fail a blood test.
Okay.
And these tests aren't testing for how high you are. They're just testing for the presence in your system.
Yes. No, yeah, correct.
Now, obviously, that's going to vary person to person, but that's how long. So, like if Josh, in his example, he went to Colorado. Josh, your boy, went to Colorado for his honeymoon. And he partook of, as some call it, the devil's lettuce. That's one of the names of pot.
I was looking at all
there's so many names.
Some good grass.
Yeah. So Josh partakes of this, right? And then he goes, applies for a new job, and they're like, okay, urine test time. He's going to fail.
Yeah.
Even if it's a month later, he might fail. Unless his system is really good.
And to say prescription drugs alone, they say can be detected up into the system up to 90 days after the last dose you took.
Yeah.
Now, and me and you, Johnson, we're screwed in this department if we ever partook. THC is fat soluble. So,
crap.
As they put on this website, and this is a website, it's called marijuanabreak.com. It's a website for people who are looking for information about marijuana. It's mostly for people who are pro marijuana. You know, they actually tell you how you can get a medical card in your state if it's allowed there, if you don't have a disease that allows you to have a medical card. So, okay, they're very pro marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But they say, to put it bluntly, in other words, the fatter you are, the longer weed will linger in your system.
Bluntly.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So
wow,
THC is eliminated slowest when it's stored in your fat tissue. So for Josh, it might go out pretty easy. But yeah,
Billy's got his own joint going on there.
He'll be holding on to that for a while.
So the actual THC itself, and they did a study with like 52 test subjects, will be in your system about 4.9 days, so almost 5 days. That's the actual THC. What they're finding in the test afterwards is a metabolic marker that THC was in the system.
Okay.
So they're not detecting actual amounts of THC.
Just
so
aftermath.
Yeah. So 4 to 5 days is how long the THC stays in you, but the metabolic markers stay in you longer.
Huh.
Because
so THC is actually in you for
4 to 5
4
days.
to 5 days.
Yeah.
So if it's in you, can it be having an effect on you?
It depends how much you have in there.
Yeah.
You know, and so in their study that they showed here, you know, those who used weed infrequently, it took, you know, cleared out their system faster. But those who use weed on a more frequent basis, it stayed longer. Some up to 12 days, they found THC still in the system.
Oh, wow.
So
that's double the normal time.
So, you know, some of those things change as, you know, depending on it. Now, that being said, I do have to say this. There is, you know, because we're talking about alcohol and weed right now, there is that common misconception, and this is a misconception that, and everyone when I was young, I always heard it called weed was the gateway drug. Did you ever hear it called that when you were younger?
Sounds somewhat familiar.
Josh?
I have.
Yeah. You know what? There's no studies that show that. So if we're being 100% honest here, there's no studies that show that weed leads necessarily to other drugs. Now, someone who is using weed is probably predisposed to use other drugs, but in and of itself does not lead to other drugs.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, I agree with your second statement there, because it can create not only a chemical addiction, but also a behavioral addiction.
Oh, yeah.
In which you're using something to give you pleasure, and therefore, if that is not at your, you know, it's not, if that's not at easy access, you could find yourself resorting to something else because of that already behavioral addiction by using weed.
Yeah, it affects the brain. It's a I forget exactly what it is, but it's like a psychoactive drug or whatever. Where it's the same class of drugs as caffeine and alcohol, where it affects the brain. Basically, what it comes down to. Now, go on.
I was say, even if when you said if it's hard to find weed, then you'd go to something else. But it's when that doesn't do anything for you anymore, and if you become
that to be fair, there's also multiple strains of weed. Some with higher THC levels, some with lower THC, and then some with higher CBD and lower CBD.
Yeah.
So if you get a high THC, low CBD, you'll get a buzz easier than if you got a low THC, high CBD.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that too.
Why do I know all this?
Yeah, Paul, maybe you have to do a drug test on you.
Feel free to cut any of my hair or take me to anywhere for a urine test.
Got you. No, I don't know. Just thinking of drugs in general. Or, I mean, alcohol, whatever.
Yeah.
I always remembered, I guess, and this is one reason I haven't really, gotten into drugs as much as I might have wanted to, was one of my old teachers who would always say, you get the high from having a drug, and you come back down, you'll be normal.
Yep.
And you'll keep doing it, but then when you're coming back down, you'll start to feel a little under your normal self.
Yep.
Then eventually you're just trying to take the drugs to feel okay at some point, and then it's just downhill from there, and it's not pretty. And I guess that's having a friend that had, the first time I had a friend get involved or hearing about a friend smoking weed for the first time made me nervous because I had the whole thought of it's a gateway drug kind of thing because that's what was going on at the time.
That's what is taught, I think, even in high school to this day.
Oh, probably. But, just hearing the fact that, now they're tried weed. It's all over now. And I feel like just having that mentality could almost make it a gateway drug. I don't know. Because, if I had weed and people are like, you're destined to go off and do other things. And then I'm just like, nah, I can say no to this whenever I want to. But then I keep going back to it. And then at some point I get curious and be like, well, what's the next bigger thing? Or what's the next thing that can get me more whacked out?
Well, yeah. And then again,
the next one.
It's not so much maybe the drug, it's like
it's your mentality.
If it's your mentality and you're partaking of said drug, you're probably gonna be hanging out with others who are partaking of said drug and be like, hey, look, do you want to party? Do
you want to try this stuff?
Yeah.
Now, this will really make you feel funny.
I'm saying this as someone who has never partaken of weed myself.
Oh, who's partaking of weed here? Sure wasn't me. No, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me because I didn't inhale it. So I had a horrible experience with smoking the marijuanas. I was in a friend's. Gosh! Oh golly! I'm gonna let you guys into my personal side. No, this was one night a friend of mine asked me if I want to hang out and just do whatever. And I don't know what was going on that day or where my mind was, but I didn't care about anything. I was like, yeah, let's go get messed up. I don't care. And then so we had gotten a ton of beer and then we had stopped and he picked up his weed or whatever from whoever his person was. And then we went out to some park, and then we were gonna start smoking, and so they had the little
gong
bowl thing or whatever.
No,
the what? The gong?
The glass.
It's a little
bong.
Bong. Thank you. Gong.
So not ding.
A pipe for
that's a bong, not a gong.
I don't know why it's a gong. I'm gonna hear that now.
Just a question.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
Shoot.
He was 9.
Yeah. No.
Surprise, Mom and Dad.
No, I know I was older than 18.
That dryer really messed him up.
Under 21?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is a few years ago.
So you went and had some alcoholic beverages.
No, we didn't end up drinking.
Oh, surprise,
No.
surprise.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Okay, anyways, continue on.
We started smoking, passing it around as me and two other guys, and came up to me, and I was just like, what do I do? Like, well, you cover that hole or whatever, light it, and then you like take it in. I was like, okay. And then, so I tried it, but I mean, I've smoked cigars for so many years. I can't say I've never inhaled, but
accidental inhale.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been those. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not inhaling anything.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't inhale the stuff. So I just tried to take it and then blew it out like I would a cigar. And then, so I mean, that did nothing for me. But then at one point, one of the guys was like, roll up the windows, let's hotbox it. I'm like, oh no. So they tried rolling up the windows. Man, that was the worst experience of my life. The dude in the back kept coughing the whole time and then started making me cough. And then I ended up cracking the window so I could slightly breathe because that smelled nasty. It tasted nasty, and I was not having fun.
So the only reason you didn't get high from a bong was because you failed to inhale.
I failed to smoke it properly. So I've never experienced a high.
Only accidentally because you did it wrong. So I hope you're listening, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Oh, I've already told them about it. Yeah.
Listen to how your son failed.
Yeah. Which may be a good thing. Because it gave me a really bad outlook on the whole idea of smoking. Because then so many other people are like, oh, well, there's so many different kinds and some are better than others. And I'm just like, well, you know what? I just don't really care to try it again.
Yeah.
So,
and to be fair, the various strains interact with different people's chemistry differently.
Yeah.
So one that might make you paranoid, another strain might make you relaxed.
Right. So, and yeah, I'd rather not, I guess. Well, I guess alcohol can do. Now, because they say different types of alcohol can do the same thing where, like, you know, oh, you drink tequila and then you get all frisky and wild, but then you drink whiskey and it makes you pissed off.
Well, I don't know if I buy that one.
I don't either.
Because I think that might actually be more of a psychological effect, something that they say and you believe it. Like, for example,
it's a mental game.
What was it? That's more. No, the soldiers, they would get it stabbed into their legs. They would inject. Okay. At one point in time, I can't remember when, but at one point in time, they weren't actually injecting anything into the soldier's leg. It was all psychological.
Yeah, placebo effect.
So that's
what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, when you take alcohol, the main component of alcohol, right, is ethyl alcohol. You know, that's what gets you drunk. That's what interacts with your brain and, you know, slows it down and blurs your vision, makes you make bad judgments, slows your reflexes, etc. Okay? With cannabis, weed, it has multiple other components besides THC that interact with your body. Now, okay, let's be honest. Jack and tequila are different alcohols. They have different ingredients besides the alcohol component.
Yeah.
But the actual component that interacts with you
is the
same thing.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it probably is that placebo psychological effect.
Yeah, because it's just like because for me personally, I mean, I can have Jack and Cokes and be more awake. I can have a few beers and that'll just probably start putting me to sleep. But I mean, if I drink a ton of beer or if I had a ton of different alcohols or whatever, whiskey, scotch, tequila, whatever.
Right.
If I ever get a buzz, that all feels the same.
Yeah, it feels
I never feel angry or happy or nor wild. Yeah, it's just a buzz and I feel goofy.
Well, isn't that your normal state of mind?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So, and I mean, obviously, all that depends on what mood you're in when you go into drinking is probably going to have a good
and the people around you will also impact your decisions and your mood too.
Anything else that you want to add regarding this topic before we get Josh a chance to talk, since he hasn't really had a chance yet?
Yeah, seriously, like Aaron, this is like a you and Paul show today. Like you are just going. You are like talking the most tonight than I've probably ever heard you talk. And I'm like sitting back here. I'm like, So do I like inject myself in to swing the pendulum this way?
Oh, no, don't worry. I haven't forgotten about you.
All forgotten about me?
Oh,
or
I haven't forgotten about you.
I've never had that thought before.
Anyways, Aaron, anything else?
No, yeah. I guess I don't know. I just talk about it because I don't know. Even though I'm not really using it, I've tried it. But
Okay.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I don't know. Weed's interesting. Not really.
Mr. Brewer.
All right.
Oh boy.
You got the floor.
Okay. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. You've talked a long time there, sir. Hey.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna make me hungry over here. Do I think it should be used for recreational? I said no.
Okay. Okay.
It stinks. I absolutely hate the smell. I hate driving somewhere and getting a whiff from someone else's car. Okay. So it's something I don't want to breathe in.
Okay, so let me ask this.
Uh-oh.
No, no. So there's that. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's a stinky fruit, and
what?
It's a fruit that it's the durian fruit. Do you know what that is? It's supposed to taste really good, but it just smells really horrible. Like some say, like a decaying body. Someone cut open a durian fruit overseas in a school, and the school evacuated. That's how bad it smelled.
Well, see, that's interesting because your taste and smell go hand in hand for you to be able to understand what you're eating.
Yeah. Some people find it like sweet, but most people just say it's a very unpleasant odor. You know? But anyways, so some say it's rotten onions, turpentine, raw sewage, decaying body. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how bad it smells. So if you're going if you're doing your whole point just based on smell,
no.
Well, no, because you said it smells bad.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm on the same side as you, but that is a very, very weak argument that loses all credibility.
No, I know.
What? No, it doesn't. No, I'm saying his argument.
No.
Well, I could go to the point and say, in a culture where we are able to complain about people impeding on other people's lives, I clearly want to say that is impeding on my freedom to smell clean air. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my.
I'm kidding.
Do you ever like the smell of a skunk?
That I find better than marijuana.
Because they're both super similar.
Oh, yes, they are. But I would rather smell skunk than marijuana. I don't know why.
I want to do a test when you smell skunk.
I mean, besides that, you also have the question, why?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you need to smoke it?
You could say the same thing of why are you drinking alcohol?
You could.
Exactly. So now I haven't researched this, kind of asking your thought on this.
Okay.
Because my mind will see somebody going to marijuana for more of a coping mechanism than they will for alcohol yet. But at the same time, alcohol's been around. It's been in the hands of people. It's been studied more. So marijuana still has that level of, there's not a whole lot of research out there yet in long term. But in my opinion, I see somebody going towards marijuana as a faster way to cope with something than I do see them going with alcohol.
Really?
That's how it's me. Because I have employees that I work with that will smoke in their car on lunch. And I know when they're smoking in their car on lunch. But anyways, besides that, you also have a bunch of the negative effects that smoking marijuana can bring to the table.
Okay, such as?
And you can be looking at changes in mood.
Okay, alcohol too.
Yep. Okay. Impaired memory.
Alcohol too.
Impaired body movement.
Alcohol too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hallucinations when taking high doses. Delusions when taking high doses. But then you also have the thing where it impacts young brains, as we were kind of talking about before.
Alcohol too.
Yes. So
you're not helping me make a good argument here.
It's like I said, I feel like this is more of an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
At this point right now, as you guys all know, Aaron and Johnson and I got drunk one time in our life, right?
Well, Aaron,
okay. I have gotten drunk once in my lifetime.
Are you sure it's just once?
Yeah, it was just in Madison.
I beg to differ.
I did feel the buzz really well when we were in Seattle, but that's a different situation. It's kind of like a controlled. Never mind. Anyways,
you still were buzzed.
I was buzzed, but it wasn't to the point to where I was looking at boots and stuff. And
Boots. Yay.
Anyways, so I see, and this is like I said, this is more of opinionated because I see alcohol as being something that is okay in moderation. Anything outside of moderation is bad. It can have a negative effect. Now, I personally don't see marijuana as being something good because I feel like it's more accessible when you have it. You can't necessarily, you can be in your car on lunch, smoke a joint, drive up and down the street to air out your car and kind of air you off. Whereas if you're drinking alcohol, you're going to smell that more unless you really wash out your mouth.
Or, you drink peppermint schnapps.
Okay, or if you do that. But it's much easier to hide a blunt than it is going to be to hide a bottle of alcohol or whiskey.
Have you? No, because like people who smoke like cigarettes, you can just smell that on their person.
Oh, yes.
And that's the same thing that marijuana or smoking a blunt does, so.
But if you drive and you smoke, it's a lot harder for it to even stick on your clothing. I know people who have smoked cigarettes while they're driving and they get out and you barely smell anything on them.
Yeah, but it's still
I haven't
there.
had that.
But anyways, go on.
Maybe the cigarettes that they use are different. I don't know. But I mean, and that's where I'm more of a no on it, just because we already have alcohol out there, and it to the point is so. I want to say, alcohol can only be controlled to a certain point, right? You can limit people in bars. You can limit the sales over the counter, but the person's own opinion on how much they consume, that's their own choice. And what they choose to do while they're consuming it is their own choice. Why do we want to add something that can have equal effects to alcohol out there in public?
You can be controlled at bars, but you can't be controlled at home.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was saying, when you're at your own house, your consumption is completely up to you. And same with marijuana. So if they both have similar effects, and we know, the death rate involving people who are driving under the influence of alcohol or the issues that arise from alcohol, why would we want to legalize something that could have the similar scenarios probably pop up from it that alcohol has? And we already see how devastating alcohol is in the culture.
Right.
Yep.
So why would we want to legalize something that can do almost equal effects to it?
Well, okay. Short term, almost equal effects. Okay. Long term. So this is from WebMD. It was a study done on teens. And so this was a long-term study of teens who use marijuana during their teenage years. It's been linked to lower IQ, changes to areas of the brain involving with learning, memory, and attention.
Yep.
Anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems, and worse performance in college.
That's marijuana?
Yeah, marijuana use in teens.
That's what that leads to.
Yeah, that's what they've linked it to with their studies. And that, again, that comes back to because their brains are still developing.
Yeah.
It's impacting things.
I've wondered.
Go on.
For drinking and smoking, whatever.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you do it, I feel like I've talked to like a couple friends where they'll talk to me about something.
Okay.
And a little while later, it's like they almost forgot what they talked about earlier. Where they're not drunk or anything. Or maybe they had either smoked or had an edible before we had gotten together or not. I don't know. But it's like it's almost like their short-term memory is gone because they've brought up one thing several times within a certain span of time of hanging out with them. So I guess does like the longer you've been, not within the day, just like over time, like
right, long-term usage.
Yeah, long-term usage is that. So that's going to affect your memory and stuff like that. Because I mean, man, if there's one, for me personally, there's one thing that can start to be like a little pet peeve or annoy me is when somebody repeats themselves a lot, especially depending on what it is. I like to say for my nephews, for you today. Hey, can you play Smash? Can we watch you play Smash? Oh my gosh! Like when if somebody says something and I got it, it's like, okay, cool, yeah, I got it. But when they repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, I'm like, okay, shut up. I got it the first time. Like, I don't know why that upsets me so much, but it does. But like, so does. I just wonder, like, is that because of how much they've started consuming alcohol and or drugs or like marijuana primarily?
So this is from drugabuse.gov. And they say that continual exposure to THC, especially either in utero, so, when before they're born or as teenagers, what it does is it hastens age-related loss of hippocampal neurons. And the hippocampal neurons is what's partially responsible for our memory.
Okay.
So, they did a study on some rats. So in one study, rats exposed to THC every day for 8 months, approximately 30% of their lifespan, showed a level of nerve cell loss at 11 to 12 months of age that equaled the unexposed animals twice their age.
Wow. Interesting.
So, yes, it can impact from some studies showing, this isn't 100% conclusive. These are early studies, there needs to be more done, but they're showing that.
See, now, I guess my thing is also when we talk about, everybody is different.
Right.
Like how...
Well, okay, so remember, even when Heather was with us for the roundtable, she said someone that drinks like a cocktail a day, not getting drunk, not getting even buzzed, suffered mental impairment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah. So we're not even talking, THC at this point. We're just talking straight alcohol.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking high doses.
Just a
little, like a martini every day.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
I would something else I'm gonna kind of pin to what I was saying before.
Okay.
And this is I had the same opinion of this with alcohol. Okay. And yes, I have gotten drunk once, but like I said, it's only been once. And my reason, and I'll quick tell everybody my reasoning for this is because I'd rather have control over myself and not let something else have control over me. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people come out and say, "Oh, well, you still have control. You just feel really relaxed." And yes, yes, but your judgment is drastically impaired in that time. But at the same time, I enjoy alcohol too much that in that first time I got getting drunk, it was just liquid going down my throat. There's no flavor. It was just I like it. I'd rather enjoy it in moderation than anything else. But one of the other things is we had a family gathering once, and my immediate family is not everybody drinks. Few people drink, and if they do drink, it's at home or if it's on a date with their spouse. They really don't introduce it to the kids. So they're very respectful and protective of alcohol in a sense. And some of my family doesn't even touch it at all. Well, my dad's cousin, their family, their immediate family, they always got booze when the family's over. Always. And his cousin came over one day and we were kind of having like a mini reunion, family reunion on my dad's side. And at the end of the thing, she said, "Wow, you can actually have a lot of fun without alcohol." And I understand alcohol is a very social thing, and in some aspects, it's it can be seen as a where you are, with your status wise, depending on the drinks you get and how expensive. I understand that, and alcohol has been around since probably beginning of time, and which it's been noted in history. So if you need to use a substance of any sort, and I'm just saying this out there, just in the broad terms of it, alcohol is included in this. If you need to use a substance to have fun, how low, in a sense, not like as a person low, but how low are you to the point where you can't have fun just as who you are? So if you need to have the substance to create the atmosphere of the party or to create who you are, or people go, oh, dude, you're so much more enjoyable when you're smoking weed or when you're drinking. If you need to rely on something to make you a better person in that regards, I think that's kind of sad. Now, rely on something, let's say you're relying on weed to make you a better person through medical, that's different. That's something that you need. If it's something that you don't need and you're using it to create the atmosphere in the party, I feel that that's actually really sad because you can't do it alone, which means you don't know what life would be like without it.
Okay.
That's.
I have a follow-up question.
Go for it.
Would you apply that same line of thought to someone who has bipolar disorder and uses a mood stabilizer?
No.
Okay, just curious.
Well, no,
because it impacts and changes how they interact with people. It changes and impacts their mood. It changes and impacts their ability to have fun or not with people.
And that's where I was saying, if you're using a substance that is not needed,
right?
So if you don't need to use marijuana, but you're using marijuana to have fun, you're trying to get real high, it's like, okay, well, is there not something else that you can do?
Well,
no, there's nothing else we can do. This is the only way we can have fun.
What if they're self-medicating? They're saying, this is the real me. Because I've heard that argument before.
Wait, what?
What?
Well, if they're self-medicating and they go, well, this is the real me and I'm self-medicating,
Okay, if you're self-medicating, you don't have to do it with a group of friends and you don't have to do it in high doses. That's an excuse at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're going to self-medicate, you do it when you're by yourself because there's no need to do it with your friends around. Because then your friends would be like, "Oh man, let me have a."
You can self-medicate and have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Again,
that's over-medicating at that point.
Again, I'm on your side. I'm just not going to let simple things go away because I've heard all those objections and arguments and blah blah blah. So something that I found out that's kind of one that because people always go, "Well, I can drink alcohol. Why can't I do weed?" Okay, fair enough. Whatever. And one of the big things that they do say, and this is true, so I will give them this point. Unlike alcohol, you can't black out or die from an overdose of weed. That is true. You got to give them that point.
That's good.
Alcohol, Aaron consumes a whole bottle of, Jack Daniels. We're going to have to watch him for the night, make sure he's not throwing up and asphyxiating on his vomit.
Let me ask you this. We probably don't know this. Maybe we do. It's just a thought that popped in my brain. Alcohol, or in a sense, back then it was just straight, wine.
Okay.
How strong is it, or how strong was it compared to today?
Don't know that one. That really doesn't filter into the conversation.
Well,
because here's why, and here's why I say it doesn't filter into that conversation. It comes back to something you said. That being said, what item that you said was, am I still in control? If it was a lot stronger back then and you had like a drink or two and you felt pretty buzzed and pretty good, okay. Now if it's 5 drinks and you feel pretty buzzed and pretty good, that's where that hits, that limits off. And this is where I'm going, not only from a personal stand, but also from a biblical stand of that we don't let something take control
Correct.
of us.
Because when we allow something to take control, we are technically putting a different podium.
We're putting ourselves under service to that. We're putting that as Lord of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's why I said, I don't care about the strength argument because it could be X strong back then and Y strong now.
Well, what I was getting at with that is if people are blacking out through drinking too much alcohol, if way back then it wasn't strong, this is where I'm going with this. If way back then it wasn't strong, but you could drink to the point to where you would want to just fall asleep, like you just had that much, but you couldn't keep drinking more because you were so full.
Yeah.
Okay. And over the years, we've learned how to make it stronger because it's a product. Okay.
Yeah.
When you buy it, they got to keep improving it. They got to make it more desirable. They got to, and for people who like to have fun and get, balls to the walls drunk, they got to make it easier for people. Anyways, but they got to keep doing something to it. And so if marijuana, with it being a plant, you can mess with it, you can change it, they can make it stronger over time.
Right.
So if alcohol wasn't as strong back in the day, this argument right now of where, you could black out with drinking too much alcohol, could you one day black out?
No.
Smoking too much marijuana?
No, it's not possible. There's no upper limit where you can hit where that would cause that to happen. Because unlike alcohol, marijuana is not a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. That's one of the reasons why it makes you very sleepy. It slows everything in your body down.
Now, there could be a different thing. Instead of blacking out, there could be something else that could happen as it gets stronger, but that's something we won't know till years.
Yeah, but there's also never been any way that they found to make an overdose of it yet either as well.
And the thing is yet. So that's where
we're talking like, because so when you're dealing with THC, you're talking normally in milligrams. Okay, so one of the papers I was reading, they equated it like this. They're like, because there's no, and it was from a Christian perspective. They're talking about so. And Aaron, you can't answer this because we've already talked about this one. So Josh, how many beers typically do they say per their study it takes to get a typical American man, buzz/drunk? Beers, just a normal beer. We're not talking whiskey or anything like that.
I actually don't know that one.
Take a guess.
Take a stab at it.
3.
A little low. 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
Okay, 4 to 5 beers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With weed, THC, again, remember, THC is that component that gets you high. How many puffs typically of a joint before you are, quote unquote, intoxicated by weed by most studies?
I'm going to say 10.
4.
See, I don't know this stuff.
Well, again, I was doing research. So in those 4 puffs, that's typically 200 milligrams of weed, which typically, after the heat loss, delivers you, especially if you're new, about 10 milligrams of THC, which is kind of what they say, is going to happen. There's an article from the LA Times, and this tells you kind of the type of day and age we're in. It says, a simple guide to pot, THC, and how much is too much. And they basically say, okay, find your cannabis strain. How are you taking this in? Are you taking it in via joint, bong, vaporizer? How much weed are you using? And it tells you how much THC you're getting. And then it says, if you're a beginner, some experienced, or more experienced, what should you be aiming for? They have us all on the chart. It's weird. But so they say half a cookie for 5 milligrams of THC for a beginner if you're taking edibles even.
How big is this cookie now?
16 grams.
That's a small cookie.
It's 0.56 ounces.
That's a small cookie.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some pretty darn big cookies.
Yep. So, they're giving you these ranges. But so if you want to make that analogous, that analogous, because let's be frank here, the Bible never necessarily talks about weed. The Bible does talk about alcohol. We know that.
Yeah.
We've seen multiple examples in the Bible about it, but what does the one thing it say over and over and over again? Even though it's there to be enjoyed, it says, do not be get a habit from this. And B, don't get drunk. Okay? It never says anything about weed. Now, a lot of the people who say, oh, weed is good, they go, well, God gave us in Genesis every seed-bearing plant to eat. That's their first line of defense they go to all the time.
Now, I won't dive too deep into this because for those of you who have not been to the Creation Museum, your mind gets blown to pieces when you go to the Creation Museum and you're reading how they take everything from the Bible and they align it with things on earth. And you're just like, I've been taught this, but the way that they bring it towards, because let's be real, the Bible is not necessarily, you can't open it up and it's like a picture book where you just, boom, understand what it's saying or understand the timeline.
Right.
They did a really good job of, opening a timeline, is... Now, like I said, I can't go into this, but weeds, they're invasive.
Okay.
They spread like crazy.
Okay.
The Creation Museum is pretty much saying that weeds, not weed, but weeds, the thorny plants that pop up everywhere in your garden, are a result of sin entering earth.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing is, having to kill animals. Humans killing humans. It's all a result of sin entering the earth. Cannabis. Is that sin entering the earth? I don't know, but it's just one little thing to kind of get someone's brain thinking, that's, just shooting that out there. But if you guys ever have the chance to go to the Creation Museum, I suggest go, but give yourself definitely 2 days because there's a lot of information to take in. But yeah.
Okay.
But no, I completely agree. Even though it doesn't say anything in the Bible about marijuana, could there have been access to marijuana back then? I have no idea.
Well, and that's where I was going next here. So since the Bible doesn't necessarily say anything about marijuana, in theology class you learn then to take the analogous. Take basically what is something that is on almost like equal footing. In this case, it would be alcohol because both mess with the brain in that way. And you apply the same principles to it. Does it impact your head? Oh yeah, it does. So then that brings into the argument, and this is where where I have to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
If Josh came in and offered me a blunt, and I took just one puff, so that doesn't intoxicate me, but yet it still has the same effects as alcohol, where it relaxes you or whatever, would that be okay? Consistently, for me to stay consistent with myself, I'd have to say yes.
I would have to agree too.
But here's the deal. It is a lot easier to get messed up off of that than it is off alcohol, because alcohol, again, 4 to 5 drinks.
And that's where I was going before, where I feel like and that's before knowing the actual statistic of all it takes is 4 puffs to technically be intoxicated. And that's what I was saying, is I can definitely see people going towards weed as a coping method faster than alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, time-wise of getting that rush.
Well, I guess it depends on how many people actually care about either smelling this. Well, I feel like a lot of people would rather drink than smoke.
Yeah.
But yet again, I see a lot of people that smoke too.
Yep.
And, and of course, you're smoking weed or whatever. So that brings about all the other stuff like, about mouth cancers and all that. I don't know if it's higher or lower risk. I can't find really much information about that.
And then again, there's also a thing of, just like vapors, more and more research coming out about vape sticks or whatever you call them these days.
Uh-huh.
They're not something, they're an alternative, but they're still not a good alternative to smoking in general. But But as time goes on, we will get more and more research that comes out, and there's always that chance that it will always be negative. So, especially when we're talking weed, if it's got anything that makes it closely related to alcohol, it's probably just going to be more negative stuff that's going to come out of it. But medical wise, there's a lot of positives.
Yeah. So you both have heard of the ministry Triple X Church,
yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are you familiar with the name Craig Gross?
No.
Okay, he's one of the founders of it.
Oh, that's an interesting last name. Be a founder of Triple X Church.
Yeah.
Gross.
So
Gross.
He just launched a new project.
Uh-oh.
He launched it at Coachella this past year.
Oh,
the day
nice.
before Easter on 4/20.
Blaze it.
Really?
Really?
His new logo of this new project is a dove holding a marijuana leaf.
Nice.
It's called ChristianCannabis.com.
Interesting.
Now, and this is kind of where I kind of disagree with him on some stuff. Okay, he's taking the medical marijuana portion and saying yes for everything. Part of it I'm like, okay. Maybe part of me is a little judgmental. I can throw that in there. I can agree with that. Okay. Now, so wait 1 second, Josh.
Uh-huh.
So, he says the reason he's using weed is because it helps him be there. He's saying he's too busy and he has headaches, so therefore I use weed. And it's like, that's a kind of a bad excuse. Now, the other parts where he says, he was hospitalized for these things, for these pain things, I get that. And if medical marijuana helps you out with that, it's beautiful. Great. But yeah, they're going to be selling weed on their website that are labeled Christian Cannabis, and they have names such as praise, peace, pause, purpose, preserve.
Interesting.
That's cringy.
Now, and looking at weed and looking at alcohol,
Okay.
the acceptance, they would in a sense be the same thing. Okay,
Right.
They both have very similar effects. The only thing is, alcohol is socially accepted. Yeah, I mean, but for the most part, so for what Paul and I have said in regards to, we drink, right? We drink,
Yeah.
Since we drink, technically, we would smoke too. Okay, no, hang on.
Whoa. Why are you speaking for me?
Paul and I don't think it should be used as recreational use, but when you put marijuana and alcohol and you kind of like put it on a spreadsheet as something as let's say you take over dinner, kind of thing in moderation. No, hang on. Yeah, you don't get where I'm going with this, do you?
Go on. Continue on. He does not speak for me, by the way.
As something casually taken, okay, alcohol. You have a bottle of alcohol, okay, right? You smoke a joint.
Okay.
Obviously, you're going to be intoxicated faster with the joint.
Okay.
But what if we flipped it around? Okay, instead of alcohol being around for hundreds and hundreds of years, let's say marijuana has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and alcohol is this new thing that just came out, or it's been around for 100 years and it's growing. Okay, they're in a sense the same thing. So since Paul and I, so what I'm getting is since I can't include Paul, since I drink alcohol. Okay, I'll drink it at dinner, or if I go over to Aaron's house, might crack open a bottle or something. In a sense, that would be the same with weed. You get where I'm going with this? You guys are looking at me confused. I mean, the listeners are not getting this either.
Continue on with your thought. Let's see if maybe
All
it
right.
completes to a actual factual thought, or if we're going to a Michael Scott rant.
So, Thanks, Paul. So going off of the main question of if alcohol is legal, if it's legal to partake in with alcohol, should it be legal to partake with marijuana? In a sense, they're both on the same scale. So yes. Now, in my opinion, no. But in a sense, yes.
Wow. Okay. Way to backtrack and cover your bases all over. I'm still going to have to say no. And the reason being, okay, it comes down to the fact of with a beer or a shot or whatever, it's a lot easier to moderate that and have that in moderation than it is this. Now, something else also, I found this out that's interesting. A 2015 study, this was done by epidemiologists at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center in Seattle, warns, and this is particular for the guys, that use of marijuana increases the risk of testicular cancer.
Right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Because they see a rise in testicular germ cell tumors.
Oh.
Ooh.
So
I don't want none of that.
You know, the
castration.
The study is still early on. You know, it's not a conclusive study, but the evidence supports that right now.
Interesting.
You know,
okay.
You don't hear about that with alcohol, thankfully.
No.
However, you do hear about your liver, your throat, your mouth.
Yeah.
You hear about all that other stuff. And also, too much alcohol gives you stomach ulcers.
Yeah, too much alcohol also gives you a beer belly, too.
Well, yeah, there's that, too. You know,
maybe that's how Billy came to be. Interesting.
But, you know, it's a lot easier to moderate
alcohol than it is marijuana, yes.
And that's the thing. Like, people, well, let's be honest here. People are going to take and drink too much alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They will do stupid stuff.
They will do stupid stuff. They will still do the same thing with marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. With alcohol, most people are going to realize, oh, yeah, I'm drunk. Most people, I said, will realize that they're drunk and will not drive or whatever. There's a lot of people who will drive and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that drive drunk.
Oh, yeah, I know that too. But there's a lot who also realize that a lot more. Now, again,
there are some people that are just drunk like crazy. They can't even walk straight, but somehow they can get in a motor vehicle and you won't even tell they're driving drunk.
Yeah. But again, like it said, you know, if the state or whatever says, hey, it's legal, then it's legal, you know, for those people. Now, unlike alcohol, and this I found here, there are at least 113 different chemical compounds inside the plant that combine to create the variety of effects on people. So,
which means that has a whole lot more room for it being altered and doing
more. There's a lot more room for a variety of its interactions. Now, alcohol, we kind of know how that interacts with a lot of drugs.
Yes.
113 plus chemicals are going to have to test for, you know, any medication. So, like any of my medications will have to be tested against all of those things.
That's a lot of testing.
That's a lot of potential interactions.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I'm still going to say no for recreational use just because it's not needed. I mean, it's not. And in a sense, alcohol
is not needed.
Exactly.
But you know what's going to happen is we're going to go to Johnson's house after this. We're probably all going to have a drink.
Yeah.
But I'm at least willing to call out my own hypocrisy on this.
Oh, yes. No. And before, what I was trying to get at is kind of the same thing. Where we are right now, alcohol is the thing.
Okay? Alcohol, caffeine.
Right. It is the thing right now.
Tobacco.
Marijuana is not the thing. If we were to switch roles with alcohol and marijuana right now would be the thing. Alcohol wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was getting at before. It's
I caught that.
What I have to say, if you can have a thing of alcohol, should you be able to have a thing a joint?
Sure.
Yes. Do I agree that it should be recreational? No. So that's where my stance is.
It ultimately comes down to be clear-headed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't let it control you.
Be smart about it.
Well, no, when I say clear head, I mean don't be drunk. Don't be high.
Yeah.
Be
smart about it for blood. That's
But and let's be honest, how many people are going to grab a joint and be like one puff and be like, "Oh, I'm done."
Yeah. Well, if you have enough people in the room and you all take a hit off of it, then maybe you'll be okay.
Okay, in that regard. But then they're probably like sealing up the room and they're going to hotbox it and then
really get the effect going.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying if you're home alone and who's going to just go one hit? They're going to do probably the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just like if I hand you a beer, you're not going to drink just a sip. You're going to drink the whole thing.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to do anything to me.
Right.
So I guess I feel like for me, knowing if smoking, and also I don't know, can you relight it later? And
can you relight a
cigar? You can, but it doesn't always either taste as good or you have to cut it off where it hasn't been burned and then start it fresh again.
Probably the same thing.
So,
I wonder if there's a moisture aspect with it. I don't know.
I wouldn't, like I said, am I against it being recreational? No, because, there's alcohol that you can go to. So that's, it's fine. But for me personally, I just wouldn't really care to get into it. I like having a cigar every now and again.
Right.
I enjoy drinks, and I can have more to drink, and be okay compared to probably smoking one blunt and being high, I guess.
Yep.
So being able to have more drinks allows me to try different flavors.
Before you know it, they're gonna have the same thing with marijuana.
Oh, well, they already do.
That's already a thing.
They
have a ton of varieties.
Yeah.
Again, I did research.
Yeah. I've known that for a long time.
Yeah.
But
any final thoughts there, Mr. Johnson? Comments, concerns, quibbles, advice?
I guess there's nothing really to say. I don't know.
Okay.
Other than I don't know, if you enjoy having marijuana, then okay. I don't know. Enjoy what you enjoy. Just be responsible about it and don't endanger yourself or anybody else's lives, because that stuff really sucks. When listen to the radio on the way home, and man, I swear the commercials on the radio are getting, well, at least for this one, were just getting darker, because it was playing a nice peaceful piano piece, and then this guy says, "This was so and so's last piano recital," and I was like, "Oh wow." She's like, "It's because she got killed in a car accident due to an impaired or, under the influence driver.
Right.
She was only 18. I'm like, wow. But that's the reality though. For people that think they can go out and have a couple drinks or smoke a bit with some friends and then go back home because they've got something to do later or, have a job to do tomorrow. I don't know. That is super and I don't know. I guess I know I feel like, I guess there's been a time where I've probably had one too many drinks where I shouldn't have been driving necessarily.
You don't say.
Yeah. But so legally drunk? Yeah, I'm sure I've been there. But I haven't been to the point where I'm just like, ooh. But either way,
wish I had that on camera.
For those who weren't able to see this in person, Aaron was going around like a little weeble wobble while steering an imaginary steering wheel.
So, but no, it's seeing some friends of mine that have had way too much to drink and then they go out and drive or whatever it is terrifying. Or just hearing about the stories of, what they did that night, and then knowing the fact that they're still out there driving. It's,
Yep. And then you also have the people who, and this is, one side would say they deserve this, and the other, or they'd say, well, it's not, why should I care? They got themselves there. Then you also have the addictive side of things where somebody has gone too far too many times, and now it's just like, okay, now they're in this cycle. They can't break free, and they end up doing something really stupid.
And Anything else there, Mr. Johnson?
Nah, man.
Okay, because Brewer interrupted you, so I had to make sure that you got you got finalized there.
No, yep.
He's jealous of all your talking today.
I am.
I'm sorry.
It's usually me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, once in a while,
good job.
Once in a while, you guys got to flip roles.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, anything else that you want to close with?
No, just pretty much what Aaron said. We can't stop you guys from doing something, but if you're going to do something, please, respect it. Please do it in moderation. Last thing we want to do is, hear more people, die from alcohol or getting arrested for hotboxing in a car and in the school parking lot. We don't want to hear anything happen to you guys, but at the same time, it's the thing. People just, unfortunately, as humans, we just cross the line, even though we know exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, yeah, just be smart. Yeah. Paul, you got anything left over?
Oh, wait, Aaron, did you have anything last thing to say? You kind of.
I was going to say, when you're saying we don't want to see anything happen to you guys, I'm like, so do you know any of the people that listen to us personally? And do you keep up with them and see what they're doing in their lives?
Well,
I'm
that's more your forte, Mr. Social Media.
Well, I'm not going to be like, I don't know.
Hey, man, what happened to you this week?
So how have you been doing this week? Yeah,
okay.
how have you been doing this week?
But
So my final thoughts on this, really what it comes down to, and, this is more from, again, politically in that I'm more libertarian politically. I'm very conservative on a few things, including these things. But I do have to agree, if alcohol is involved and is legal and cannabis does some of the same things, and here's the rub. In moderation where you don't get buzzed, But here's the thing: no one is really doing that. They're using it to get buzzed. Okay, really, for me as a Christian, what it comes down to when I'm thinking about these things, and this is even alcohol too. Okay, is these couple of questions kind of permeate my brain a little bit. The first one, will it promote the cause of Christ? Will this activity lead me and others to, view Jesus above all else? Will me partaking of this thing and others knowing about it or being involved with it with me, will it cause them to fall, to stumble, to have issues? If I knew Aaron was a drunkard and I drank in front of him, would that cause an issue with him? If it did, then I should not be doing that. So that's where ultimately comes down to me, what I think. And that's why I'm still on that no on the recreational, just because of the fact that I know that for a vast majority of people, they're not going to just take 1-2 puffs and then be done. They're going to take the whole thing, or they're going to eat a whole cookie, and that's we know how that goes. So that's my thought. Now, that being said, this today, what we talked about, the three of us discussion, this wasn't a end all be all. Thou shalt not do
smoketh the weed.
Yeah, thou shalt not smoketh the weed or eat the edibles. This is a conversation starter, not the end all conversation. That being said, these are our opinions. They do not have to be the same as yours. You do not have to agree with us. You may agree with Aaron. You may agree with Josh or me. You may not agree with either one of us and have something completely different. And that is fine. And that is, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you're human. You have disagreements. You have that. That's why I said this is not the end all be all conversation at all. Now, that being said, we do have other episodes available. We just wrapped up Mental Health Month for May. And we could always use ratings on iTunes. That's always appreciated. All of our podcasts are linked off of one URL, one website, gopod.me/words. If you go there, you can get a link to all of our areas where we're available: Castbox, iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, our website, Pocket Casts,
Spoofy,
Spotify as well. You can listen right on the website. You can listen to us on uywords.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/uywords. All those places are great.
And as we normally say, please let us know what you thought. Please keep your comments, your opinions, and everything as respectful as possible. We would love to keep your opinions up on the screen. If it's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, any of the social media sites, we'd love to keep your opinions up there to allow you and others to communicate. But at the same time, you also need to keep it under control because we don't want to have to delete. We have deleted in the past due to remarks that certain people have said.
Just trolling ones.
Yes.
As long as you're not trolling, you're fine. It's if you're trolling and trying to start conflict on purpose, then we're going to step in and delete. However, if you're saying, hey, you know what? I disagree.
And you give your reasons why? Cool. We would love to hear it. We would, and that's one of the things, when you in today's society, too many people get too defensive on an opinion and they don't allow other people to be able to express and be able to state, their opinions and the facts that they have collected. Because let's be real, we're in a culture that believes that all it is one opinion, or it's all or nothing. And in reality, we are a very uneducated culture.
Oh yeah,
very uneducated. And being able to talk, being able to post opinions, being able to respond, it definitely allows us to become more educated.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear what you guys have to say about this episode. Let us know what you would like us to talk about for the future. We're going to start needing some more ideas here, and there's nothing better than talking about something that you actually want to listen to.
Yep. And not all of us come from the same background, so we all are going to have different opinions on things.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's head over to Aaron's and let's have a drink.
Woo! Light it up a bit too. Just kidding. Maybe a cigar.